Hello, fellow Movie Crusaders, and welcome to our latest episode. My name's Sean Wasserkrug, and today we're going to be reviewing one of my more anticipated films of the year, the Super Mario Brothers movie. Now, for me, especially most people around my age, we all had video game systems growing up, mainly the Nintendo, whether it be the NES, the Super Nintendo, the N64. Name your Nintendo system, you probably have all had one in your life. But the main thing that has always been with Nintendo, pretty much since the beginning, is Super Mario Brothers. Yes, I played all these games ad nauseum when I was a kid, whether it be the original trilogies or the Super Mario World, Mario 64, Mario Kart, Mario Party, which is still, I believe, incredibly underrated for what it is. You will lose friendships playing that and Mario Kart. But for me, obviously once the Wii and all that stuff started, I started to kind of steer away from Nintendo because it just kind of felt like the same old stuff and moved on to PlayStation and other systems. But it didn't deter my love for the Super Mario franchise as a whole. And for me, to tell you how much I love Mario to a point, I loved the old show with Captain Lou Albano. I watched that show religiously when I was a kid. I loved that show so much. I even, up until I got to the point where I realized how movies are bad and not all of them are good, I defended the live-action Super Mario for the longest time, saying it's not so bad, probably because I love John Leguizamo. But no, that movie's god-awful, and we will definitely be talking about that on this week's episode of Cinemasochism. But when they announced that they were going to be doing a new Super Mario Brothers film, especially much like this, with it being, animated film, I definitely piqued my interest. It definitely made me feel more excited with what they were going to have, because I feel like this world, the characters and everything that Mario is, suits itself better as an animated film than it would be for a live action, especially with just the world building of what Mario is. The only thing that worried me was that it was Illumination making this film. I am not a fan of Illumination. I've never liked, for the most part, any Illumination films. I've never been a fan of Despicable Me. I cannot stand the Minions. And even when I saw the first actual trailer for Super Mario Brothers, there were certain parts of that movie, or certain parts they showed in it, that made me a little worried. Mainly like that one part with one of the Toads going, "But we're adorable!" And it's like, don't make this cutesy. Just make a Mario movie and just make it fun for all ages. And so I went into this relatively excited, but I've been hearing this horrifically bad word of mouth. Yes, I know people are pissed that Chris Pratt is playing Mario because he's not Italian, and everyone wants to hate on Chris Pratt all of a sudden. But yet, that's the funny thing, is y'all want to hate on Chris Pratt for being Mario, but no one's got a problem with Charlie Day, who I love, playing Luigi, who's also not Italian. Kind of hypocritical there, but nonetheless. I was generally excited for this despite the word of mouth. I did come in with lower expectations, but I really wanted to see what we were going to get with this film. And frankly, at the end of the day, I really don't understand the hate for this movie or the backlash for this movie. I had a blast. I had so much fun watching Super Mario Brothers, the movie. Yes, is the plot very, very thin? Of course it is. But you know what? It's Super Mario Brothers. It doesn't need to be this deep, thick plot and this revolutionary story. Here's the plot. You've got two plumber brothers, you got a princess, and you got Bowser. And Mario has to defeat Bowser. That's the plot. You can sprinkle stuff across the way. It doesn't have to be fucking Lord of the Rings, everybody. Especially not this first film, by any means. The simple plot is good. It opens up the door to expand on this world in future installments, because there will be future installments. I went in the middle of the day on a Thursday, and this theater was packed, and my theaters are never packed where I live. Mario is going to make a ton of money, and we are going to see more of these films, and I'm all for it. I thought Chris Pratt was a solid Mario. There was never a point in this movie where I went, man, they really miscasted Mario with Chris Pratt. I never thought that. And for people wondering if he was going to do a Mario voice the whole time, no, he doesn't. You know why? Because they explain it in the very first beginning part of the film. And when they explain that, it's like, that was perfect. That was the best way to do it. And it gives an out for Pratt and Charlie Day throughout the rest of this film. Charlie Day is great as Luigi. I do wish we got a little bit more of Luigi in this film. He is kind of the quote-unquote damsel in distress. Not a spoiler. You see that Bauer has him in the trailers. I wish there was more of him in this movie. I do wish there was more Mario and Luigi together in this movie, but most of the movie is Mario having to try and save Luigi and stop Bowser. I think Anya Taylor-Joy as Peach is great in the film. They don't really give Anya a whole lot to do in terms of just being Princess Peach. They don't and then you can chalk that up to the thin plot line of the movie. They don't really give Peach a lot to do, but when they do give her stuff to do, and she's in the movie a lot. I'm talking about in terms of like character build and stuff like that. But when they do give her a lot to do, Anya's great in it. Keegan-Michael Key is Toad. He's funny. He's great. A lot of people are knocking Seth Rogen's Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong is fun. I enjoyed the hell out of Donkey Kong. And a lot of people are like, well, it's Seth Rogen's voice. Donkey Kong doesn't talk, everybody. He makes monkey noises. I'm totally cool with Seth Rogen's voice as Donkey Kong. And you know what? Based off of how Donkey Kong is in Donkey Kong Country, kind of makes sense that Seth Rogen would be his voice. There are so many great Easter eggs in this film for nostalgia Nintendo fans to people who didn't just play Mario but played other old school Nintendo games. Keep your eyes peeled for that. There are funny little inside jokes for people who only played the Mario games. Whether they be the originals or whether it be the spin-offs like Mario Kart or Donkey Kong Country or anything like that. This movie looks gorgeous as well. This is a beautifully animated film. Once they get to Mushroom Kingdom or even Bowser's like traveling little island castle, everything looks fantastic. You are in the Super Mario world and it looks breathtaking. When we get to the actual Mario Kart part of the story, it looks fantastic. The Super Smash Brothers-esque part of the story looks fun and awesome. Everything about this movie, for the most part, made me just happy. And it was a warm hug. And yes, you can say it's nostalgia, but it's not. It's just finally actually seeing these characters done, for the most part, earnestly and well put together characters on screen. Yes, could they have used more character build-up? Sure, but you know what? It's Mario. If you don't know what Super Mario is at this point, I can't help you. The freaking game's been out for 30 plus years, and there's been like 1,000 games. If you don't know who the characters are, that's on you. So they don't need to do this whole big world building. You just have to go in and have fun with it. The story doesn't have to be a massive story complex. It's simple. And you know what? And just like I said, I used the same defense for The Force Awakens, and I can't remember what the other film was that I defended the same thing. Mario, especially after the live-action one in 93, we never thought we were going to get a Mario film again. And all these directors really had to do was just show up and say, this is what we can do with Mario. If you guys enjoy this, we can expand on this more in sequels. And just much like The Force Awakens did with all the backlash of the prequel films, and how, like, George Lucas ruined Star Wars, and The Force Awakens came out, and yes, you can say that it's very much like New Hope. I will argue that defense. But all they were doing was saying, look, this is what we can do with Star Wars again. We can make people love Star Wars again, which Force Awakens did, and then they went and did Last Jedi stuff. But all they had to do with Mario was make it fun, make it enjoyable for all ages, and make you leave that place going, man, that was a fun time. And it succeeds on that. It succeeds beautifully on all those parts. There is one problem that I didn't really like in the movie, and it's a nitpick for me, because apparently a lot of people will love it. I didn't really care for it, is that there is a subplot with Bowser. I'm not going to say what it is, but there is a subplot with Bowser that really just didn't mesh well with me. It kind of was a little bit eye-rolly for me. And for me, it felt like it was just to give Jack Black more stuff to do with Bowser. I love Jack Black. For me, he's always going to be Po in Kung Fu Panda. Are there points where I felt like I was watching more Jack Black than I was watching Bowser? Absolutely. Not that Jack Black's not bad. I love Jack Black. but it didn't feel like Bowser at points. It just felt like Jack Black impersonating Bowser while still wanting to be Jack Black. When he was just being Bowser, I had a blast watching him as Bowser, but when they were doing this subplot, which was basically just to let Jack Black be more Jack Black, that's where the movie was kind of losing me. It doesn't overstay its welcome. It's little things here and there, but overall, if you're a Mario fan, Nintendo fan, hell, a fan of anything Mario Brothers franchise, whether it's Mario, Luigi, Princess Peach, Toad. You do get some snippets of Yoshi, but Yoshi's not a focal point. He's going to be held off for a sequel. Spoiler, I guess, but come on. They can't throw everything in this movie. Fan of Mario Kart, Smash Brothers, anything of those. You guys are going to enjoy this movie. This movie was fun. And here's the thing. Everyone in my theater, whether it was my dad who went and saw it, who's in his 60s, to myself in my 30s, to kids in their, like tons of little kids in this movie. Everyone in my theater enjoyed the hell out of this film. They applauded when this movie ended. I didn't because I think that's cliche. But everyone watched this. And if I was their age, those young kids' age, this is a movie that I'd be playing over and over and over again once I had it on VHS or DVD or Blu-ray, whichever one you use right now, or streaming now. This is a movie that I would watch on repeat. Nowadays, not so much. But bottom line is Super Mario Brothers, the movie, is a fun, enjoyable, and quick 90 minutes. Could they have allowed 20 to 30 more minutes for better story and deeper plot and character? Yes, but you remember, this is still a kid's movie. You're going to lose the kids if you go too far into that stuff. It needed to be fun, quick, bright, colorful, enjoyable, and Mario Brothers succeeds at that. For me, I'm going to give Super Mario Brothers the movie an 82%. Strong recommendation for me for anyone who's a fan of this stuff. If you're not a fan of any of this stuff, stay away. You don't come in just to be a hater, be a troll. If you love these characters, if you love this world, once you enter the Mushroom Kingdom with Mario, you're just going to be in awe of how amazing it looks, much like I was, and then you're just going to enjoy the ride, just like I did. And I hope you guys enjoy that ride too. If you guys enjoyed this review, go ahead and hit that like, share, and subscribe button to the channel so you guys stay up to date with all the latest videos pop up on the Movie Crusaders. And of course, hit the follow us on all the social media outlets you see below. Coming up next, we'll have a review for Air, as well as we will have episodes for Cinemasochism, where we'll be talking about the 1993 version of the Super Mario Brothers movie. We also have the Weekly Crusaders, where Brian Michaels and myself will be talking about 2 movies that came out during this week in movie history. And next week, we will have a review for Renfield. Pope's Exorcist also comes out. I don't know if I'm going to see that in the theaters or not. I might just wait for that to come out on streaming because I'm not really super excited for it. But nonetheless, there might be a review for that at some point down the road. But we definitely will have a review for Renfield, as well as more episodes from Cinemasochism and the Weekly Crusaders. But until next time, my name's Sean Wasserkrug, and until I see you, fellow Movie Crusaders, go watch the movies. Go have some fun.
You're still here. It's over. Go home.